Thank you all very much. Merry Tuba Christmas. My name is Tony Zelinsik. I'm the tuba euphonic professor here at Kaplan University, and we are very excited to present to you the 42nd year consecutive of Merry Tuba Christmas. And this is also the 51st year of Tuba Christmas International, so we're happy to celebrate this kind of longevity for this kind of concert. How many of you here, is this your first time at Merry Tuba Christmas? Awesome, welcome. And we sincerely hope that you will enjoy the sound of this ensemble in this beautiful hall, and your only charge is to bring 10 friends next year. That first one was the great old carol #1 in our book, Adeste Fidelis, O Come All Ye Faithful. As we go through the day here, I'll give you a little bit of history on Merry Tuba Christmas, a little bit of information about the groups of instruments that we have playing, and all of the things that are going on around us, and a couple of special surprises as well. Our normal mode of operation here is, and you figured it out on that first one, is that we will play through a carol, and then please join us in singing the carol the second time. For most of these, we will do that. Some of them are listen only, and we will certainly tell you about that. But feel free to sing loudly as I talk to my musical friends. When we play or sing, sometimes we play and we sing a little timidly because we're not sure if we're doing the right thing. But you know, the nice thing about being a musician is that if somebody makes a mistake, nobody gets hurt. So go ahead and let's hear it. Sing loud for everybody to hear. If you've seen Elf, you know the best way to bring Christmas cheer, right? Here we go, number 3. So we talk about Tuba Christmas. We've been doing this for a long time, and I love the story of the origins of Tuba Christmas. Harvey Phillips was the man that founded this great celebration 51 years ago. He 51 years ago decided he wanted to honor his teacher, William Bell, the great tuba player and performer, who kind of was one of the first people to bring these low brass instruments more into the role of soloist and less in the role of the sitting in the back row of a concert band or orchestra. And Bill Bell was born on Christmas Eve, and so Harvey thought, what a great way to honor Bill than by doing a Christmas show. So he talked to his composer friend Alan Wilder, who very sadly passed away on Christmas Day. So there's a big connection there. He asked Alec to arrange some Christmas carols that could be played by people of all ability levels. You'll notice on stage today, one of the neat things is we have some very, very young players, which I absolutely love, and we have some pretty darn experienced players up here as well. And it's lovely to get those people sitting next to one another because there's a great interchange of knowledge and musicality and just the community of music making, and we'll talk more about that as we go. But Harvey wanted something like that to happen, so he called the people at Rockefeller Center and said, I would like to get several hundred tuba players on the ice and do a Christmas show. And that's kind of the response that he got. So he called some of his great friends, Bill Schumann, who was the president at Juilliard at the time, Leonard Bernstein, who was conductor of the New York Philharmonic at the time. Harvey was a big name in New York City music scene, but he played the tuba. And everybody said, oh, nice. And so he called all of his friends, and his friends called Rockefeller Center, so that when Harvey called back, and he said, I would like to do a concert on the ice rink with a bunch of tubas, and they said, Mr. Phillips, you can do whatever you'd like. And so they said, okay, and on that December, I can't remember the exact day, it's in the front of the Green Book, one of you guys can tell me that later. They put 400 tuba players and euphonium players dressed in Santa Claus suits on the ice rink at Rockefeller Center and had the first Tuba Christmas. And since then, it has happened in over 150 cities around the world. It happens practically every day from Thanksgiving through Christmas. There's a Tuba Christmas somewhere in this country. People always ask me, why is it on Monday? I have to work and I have school. I said, I know, but if I move my Tuba Christmas, that's a domino effect because there's another one tomorrow somewhere. And some of the folks up on stage here actually travel. They'll be at a different Tuba Christmas tomorrow and a different one on Wednesday. And it's a pretty amazing tradition that has grown in this country. So we're very happy you're part of this. That's just a little bit of the history of Merry Tuba Christmas. And to check what tune is next. Again, as we talked about the community of music making, and we like to involve everybody, but we also like to feature some people. So this is God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, and one of our traditions here at Tuba Christmas Columbus is to invite the gentlemen in the audience to sing along with this one. Ladies, sit in judgment. You will have your turn, but let's see if we can get the men of the audience to rumble as loudly as the low brass choir. Here is God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. So ladies, how'd they do? Gets better every year, so make sure you go practice. Good. These Tuba Christmas events are very big, and they're fun. And as I've said many years, this is the high point of my musical. First part of my musical year, and I love doing this, and it's great fun, but this is not done solely by one person, and it does not happen all on its own. So I want to thank, if they can hear me out at the table, you saw the great gang running our table out front. They've been here all morning, working the registration table, and my studio and friends have been here all day to help out. So those of you that have been here all day to help out, please stand up and be recognized. We at Capitol here have the best tuba euphonium studio on the planet, and it makes me happy to get to make music with them all the time. Next up is another great Christmas favorite, and we hope you will sing along. This is The First Noel. One of my very first Tuba Christmases that I ever did, Harvey Phillips did that at the end of one of the tunes. I'm like, what is he doing? And I'm like, oh, he's checking to see if we're paying attention. It works. All right, Angels We Have Heard on High. This is one of my favorites. Again, another thing that I learned from Harvey Phillips many years ago at Tuba Christmas here in Columbus. We will do Angels We Have Heard on High, and we'll sing it through, and we'll go all the way to the end, and then we'll go back to the beginning, and then you join along with us. And then when we get to the Gloria in Excelsis Deo, we are going to stop playing, and we are going to let all of the women in the audience be the Celestial Tuba Christmas Choir. And so the Glorias are up to you. We are not going to play. We are going to listen to the angelic sound, and then we'll come in and play the ending with you. So this is your chance, and for the audience, to sing Angels We Have Heard on High. Isn't that lovely? I love that. That was fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have a very full and enriched musical life, and it's mostly due to the people that I get to hang out with. I mentioned my studio already. They're fantastic people. And I have some great colleagues and friends in the business that I get to work with. And one of them is our band director here at Capital University, director of wind ensembles. Came to us 2 years ago and has been an amazing addition to this faculty and an amazing influence on our students and in this musical community. And it is my great pleasure to call him my friend. This is our director of wind ensembles, Dr. Ishbah Cox.
No need to whisper about it. It's hard to hear our angels sing. And you know what to do.
Our next guest conductor, another great friend of mine, he moved to the States about the same time I got down to Columbus, around 1995, 96. He has been a friend in the brass banding world. He's still very much in demand in Great Britain as both clinician and conductor of world championship brass bands. An incredible musician, arranger. You're going to hear one of his arrangements today. Fantastic teacher, not only of music, but also of math. He was actually on the math faculty here for a while, and would come over and play with my Tuba euphonium ensemble. And it was fantastic. I loved it because Dr. Keith would come in and the euphonium players would all sit up a little straighter and play a little nicer because he was there with them. One of my great friends and great influences and mentors and great musician, Dr. Keith Wilkinson.
Thank you very much, Tony. It's a privilege to be here once again. As Tony has mentioned, I was a professor in the mathematics department, but strayed over to the music department as often as I could without being caught out. A few years ago, I lived in Northern Ohio before moving to this area, and now living in Delaware. And I was invited to be guest conductor in Medina, and I was also asked to arrange in the bleak midwinter. So that's what we're going to play for you now. Sit back, no singing, or sing if you want, but the arrangement doesn't call for that. Here is Bleak Midwinter by Gustav Holst, arranged for euphonium and tuba ensemble. Well, you've sat quietly for long enough. Now it's your opportunity to join us. We're going to play the Holly and the Ivy. When it gets to verse 2, when we ask you to sing along, if you don't know the words, just laugh or sing whatever you want. But just the Holly and the Ivy.
Another of the great traditions that we have here at Mary Tuba Christmas Columbus, you'll notice the fine dressed line of people in the second row. These are my friends from the 122nd Army National Guard Band here in Ohio. And we are very, very blessed to have them with us every year. Since I can remember in Columbus, they've been right in the middle, holding this thing together with incredible musicianship and incredible service. So I give you the low brass section of the 122nd Army National Guard Band. Christmas is a time, and the holidays are a time when we remember people that can't be with us, whether they're away, serving our nation, they're serving in a hospital, serving in a police force, serving in a fire station. Lots of times they can't be home with us when we want them to, and so we like to remember them. Harvey had a very famous Bach song that he loved, Komm süßer Tod, Come Sweet Death. It sounds a little dark for a Christmas song, but it's not really at all. It's a song about what happens after and how sweet that all is. And so we're going to use Come Sweet Death, which is one of Harvey's favorite songs, and we're going to lead right straight into Silent Night, which we will play twice, and we invite you to sing along the second time. So Komm süßer Tod, into Silent Night, in honor of those that cannot be with us this holiday season. those of you, well, I think one of the big things about Tuba Christmas that Harvey always wanted us to remember is that we're all still kids at heart. And I hope you are too. I think sometimes we lose that a little bit. And I think the holidays are a great time to get that back. And I've heard some young ones out here today laughing and having a great time, and it's wonderful. It's fantastic. Let them laugh, because we need some laughter. There's another great song in the tuba euphonium world that has not taken the world by storm yet, but we are working on it. It's been 40 years, but we're gonna get this. And this is a song written especially for this event. As I told you, Alec Wilder wrote the first 13 carols in the book for the original Tuba Christmases, and then our great friend Norland Bewley, who lives over in Dayton, runs the Dayton Tuba Christmas, which was just yesterday, right? Is that right? Someone mentioned it, yeah, just yesterday was the Dayton Tuba Christmas, which Norland runs, and he wrote the other carols that brought us up to 33. And a great arranger, wonderful low brass player, teaches about 180 private lessons a week. That's how he makes his living. He's an amazing musician, a fantastic guy, and wrote all these carols, all these great arrangements to complement the Alec Wilder arrangements. Well, he decided at Harvey's behest, Harvey was always commissioning music, and he said, we need an original Christmas song. And so Norland said, great, let's do it. And so he wrote this wonderful little tune, which, again, we're hoping, we sent it off to Taylor Swift, and she's not yet done anything with it. I hope she does, which would be very fun to have her here next year. But in the meantime, you get me and Murray Robertson to bring you Santa Wants a Tuba for Christmas. Ready? Santa brings toys to good girls and boys. He's done it for years and years. But most of you don't even know that Santa Claus has a very special wish of his own. How many of you played an instrument in high school? Wow. How many of you still play? Awesome. For the rest of you, why not? You see something pretty magical up here, and I like to, and this is one of the things, as I said before, Harvey was very much interested in, was making sure that we're lifelong lovers of music and lifelong learners of music. As I said, there are people up here who have just picked up the instrument within the last 3 months. And there are people up here who've been playing the instrument for many years. And it's quite wonderful. And you get a sense of that energy being out there, and that energy comes right back to us. It's a real sharing of energy. And I really hope that if you did, and you know, even if you didn't play an instrument, it's never too late to pick one up and get up here and join us, right? Because it is one of the great things that we can do is play music. I teach music at an Institute of Higher Learning. And one of the first things I say to students that are coming to school to study with me is, you know, you don't need a degree to play music. You know, you do need a degree to practice medicine. They frown on doing that if you don't have the degree. You can't teach law without a degree. You can't practice law. You can't sell real estate without getting certified. But you know what you can do? You can always play music. And like I said at the beginning, we worry sometimes, oh, I won't get good enough, I'll make a mistake. So what? No one gets hurt, right? And we have a great time. And you get to share like this. You get to share like this. So I urge you, if you stopped playing, maybe start back up. Get yourself into a community band. Columbus is replete with them. We've got bunches of community band players right back here now, and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you choose one of the Majestic instruments, you can come here next year and play along with us. Speaking of Majestic instruments, another plug. Tomorrow night, if you haven't had your fill of Christmas songs, first time ever, I think, in the world, is Merry Flute Christmas. This is not a joke. 7 o'clock tomorrow, right here on this stage, the very first Merry Flute Christmas. So I urge you to stop out and check that out as well. That's run by our flute professor, Dr. Lisa Jelly. It's sure to be a wonderful evening. So make sure you come out and hear that right on. Come on out and see that. So the next tune is Joy to the World, the world's greatest scale. So it's a scale, the song is a scale. I asked the Tuba studio one day, I said, let's play Joy to the World in E major. And they looked at me like, what? And then I think it was Murray that said, it's just a scale. And they said, okay. It's one of the most beautiful songs on the planet, and it was Harvey's favorite, and because it was Harvey's favorite, we do it 3 times. So you're going to have to muster up, and I know it's on the list of things to do to put together a songbook for Tuba Christmas Columbus, and I'm sorry. However, pull 2 verses out of your memory cells, and we'll play one through, and you get 2 more verses, and like Keith said, if you don't remember, mish the words from the 2 verses together that you do remember, and it'll be fine. It will be fine. Here we go, Joy to the World. Now that right there is called a tuba cheer. If you haven't seen a tuba cheer before, you're like, ah, you forgot to get your camera out, right? Get your camera out. This is called a gratuitous tuba cheer. Are you ready? Cameras are out, and tuba cheer. All right, we're down to our last two numbers. Can you believe it? As I've already alluded, this is a wonderful day for all of us up here. I'm always very honored to be able to be with these people. I was telling you earlier. Actually, let's show the audience. For how many up here is this your first Tuba Christmas? How many of you? That's a pretty great number. And we keep building it through this beautiful music community that we have. And it's one of my favorite days, and I think it is for many of these folks. And I love getting a chance to hang out with them. So thank you all from me for doing this. It's wonderful, and I love it. Next up is another great Northern Muley arrangement. This is Jingle Bells. All right, I have one more special guest to introduce to you today, and kind of a cool cat. This is my friend Johnny. Ready to say hi? Johnny's got a question he wanted to ask somebody. It is Christmas time, and wonderful things, magical things happen at Christmas, so I'm going to let this just kind of happen. You don't have to play the last song, you can stay with it. The dedication of musicians.